All right, it's that time again, isn't it? Well, I give you an update from behind enemy lines, being the so-called protagonist in a global social engineering and intelligence operation, merely because there is a conglomerate of governments and intelligence agencies and establishments who proclaim that I'm the boogeyman, and they use that situation that they themselves are creating as the pretext to run the program. And in this regard, they have obviously been labeling me guilty for everything under the sun, but especially for sex crimes. They just love to blame and label me guilty for sex crimes. And I did a video the other day on the 28th of November 2022 where I literally lay out the facts as they are and provided documentation. For example, my extended criminal record, which is something that relates directly to sex crimes, and as can be seen in this recent document from the highest of police authorities here in Denmark, and the document is from February 2022, I have never been known or engaged or involved in a sex crime whatsoever, which is proven in this official record. And me laying out the facts and providing documentation is something I have done throughout the program. And regardless of me proving with official documentation how this is something that is being proclaimed falsely as a means of justifying the social and political persecution of me, well, then they either just ignore my videos and shadow ban me on all social platforms, or they retaliate against me as they have done in this after me doing this video. And it's classic the way they operate. It's always the merry-go-round, so we have the same four or so subjects going on and on repeatedly, and just changing every other week or whatever to suit the narratives, or to give it a new flair or whatever. And after me doing this video, they retaliated against me, as I say, and they were back on the sex theme. So they were claiming that I was engaging in some sexual perverted acts, and there were supposedly recordings of these acts. And obviously I haven't engaged in anything, and I certainly haven't been filming myself or what have you. And yet they have just been putting out this, as far as I can gather, content of a sexual nature to discredit me and what I was saying in this latest video of mine. And generally speaking, I have always been saying the same things. So they use the classic merry-go-round where they change the subject to a sex subject, from a sex crime to a sex subject, and after this they have also been spreading all kinds of lies. And mind you, I only know a fraction of all the things that are being said about me and claimed about me that I'm supposedly doing or engaging with or guilty of. I only know a tiny fraction of it. And I have been hearing so many lies by the establishments and the intelligence agencies, de facto proxies, like here in Denmark they're using the Danish Broadcasting Media Service, Denmark's radio. And on this program they're literally just claiming all kinds of things that have no actual basis in reality whatsoever, at least in my reality. And they are also wanting to extend the time period that they themselves have given to end the program, supposedly, which would be here on the 1st of January. They wanted things to change. And yet obviously this is not going to happen. So they are saying that I'm not going anywhere, that I'm only going out once or twice a month, which is again completely and utter lies. I go out all the time. Obviously my situation is not conducive to me having a social life of any kind, because this is simply not allowed. But every time I need to do something, go to the shops, run my small business, go boxing, I do all of these things. I have done on a regular basis. I'm still continuing to do them without any halt or without any change whatsoever. So it's just an endless amount of lies that are being perpetuated by this conglomerate of states and intelligence agencies which are spreading propaganda and psyops, and they are claiming every narrative that they propagate is supposedly about me, without me actually having any involvement whatsoever. And I know they're using fragments of my life, or things that I do, or things that I own, in their propaganda campaigns, which they are using as building blocks to create something entirely different. And they are using their technological capabilities, i.e. synthetic telepathy, to dictate and micromanage over the public grid, or to control their active measures that they set in motion. They're using their virtual fabrication machine to make all kinds of virtual movie fabrications that they claim are my thoughts, or my intentions, or my memories, or whatever label that they put on their own fabricated propaganda and psyops. And they're using these technological capabilities to the fullest extent to try to deceive and manipulate the public that they are sending all of these propaganda and psyop campaigns to. And there is very, very little I can do about it. As I say, I'm being heavily censored and shadow banned on all social media. I am being ostracized, I am being alienated. It is literally impossible for me to have any kind of normal life in this situation, but yet I do the best that I can in the situation that I find myself in. And if anybody has any direct questions to me, I would love to answer them, but you know as well as I do, you're not allowed to ask me anything that is not covered or intertwining code words or arbitrary speak. It's literally 1984 times 10 in this situation that we all find ourselves in.